Unlock the timeless wisdom of Stoicism as we delve into 10 profound perspectives on success, failure, and happiness. Discover how adopting Stoic principles can reshape your understanding of true fulfillment. Ready to redefine your path to success? Stay tuned and embrace the Stoic way of life. Have you ever wondered why the most successful people can be the most miserable? It's a conundrum that's puzzled many for years. We're brought up to believe that success, the acquisition of wealth, status and power, is the key to happiness. But often, those who seem to have it all are the ones grappling with deep dissatisfaction and despair. What's missing? Enter Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, relevant today as it was over 2,000 years ago. Stoicism offers a unique perspective on success, failure and happiness, challenging our societal norms and encouraging us to redefine these concepts. It suggests that our fulfillment and contentment lie not in external achievements, but within ourselves, in our ability to control our reactions to life's ups and downs. So here's a thought to ponder. What if I told you that the ancient philosophy of Stoicism could provide some unexpected answers? Stick around and let's delve into these Stoic perspectives together. Society paints a tempting picture of success, doesn't it? We're often told that success is a glittering mansion on a hill, a shiny sports car in the driveway, or a seven-figure paycheck. It's the fame that makes heads turn when you walk into a room, the power that allows you to call the shots, and the status that places you above the rest. This is the image of success that's often sold to us, like a tantalizing apple hanging just out of reach. But let's delve a bit deeper. What happens when we conflate success with wealth? It can lead to a relentless pursuit of money, often at the expense of our personal relationships and well-being. The irony is, the more we chase after wealth, the more elusive it seems to become. It's like trying to catch a shadow, always just a step ahead, no matter how fast you run. And what about fame? It's a fickle friend, isn't it? Here one moment, gone the next. And with fame come expectations, scrutiny and pressure. It's a precarious pedestal that can easily topple over, leaving one feeling more isolated than ever. Power, too, is a double-edged sword. While it can give us control and influence, it can also corrupt, leading to arrogance and a distorted view of reality. A thirst for power can turn into an insatiable hunger, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. So, if wealth, fame and power, the common societal markers of success, come with such potential pitfalls, then we must ask ourselves, are we chasing after the right things? Are we letting society dictate what success should look like for us? Perhaps we need to reevaluate our measures of success. Maybe it's not about the size of our bank account, the number of followers we have, or the amount of power we wield. Maybe it's about our relationships, our passions, our ability to make a difference, and our capacity for growth. But what if there's more to success than meets the eye? These Stoics had a radically different view on success. When we talk about success in the modern world, we often think about wealth, power, fame, or even just achieving our personal goals. But for the Stoics, success was about something entirely different. The Stoics, philosophers from ancient Greece and Rome, believed that true success was about virtue, wisdom, and moral character. They argued that these qualities were the only things truly within our control, and therefore the only things that should define our success. Sounds radical, doesn't it? They viewed virtue as the highest good, and they believed that a virtuous person who makes the right decisions based on wisdom and moral judgment is truly successful, regardless of their external circumstances. For them, success was about being good, not having goods. And wisdom? Well, wisdom was not just about knowledge for the Stoics. It was the ability to discern what is truly important in life, to distinguish between what is within our control and what isn't, and to act accordingly. It was about understanding the nature of the world and our place in it, and navigating life's challenges with calm and clarity. So, if you're starting to think that the Stoics were all about serious moral contemplation and had no time for worldly pleasures, let me assure you that's not entirely the case. They did not reject wealth, power, or other external goods. Instead, they simply argued that these things do not define our success or happiness. They can be preferred or not preferred, but they should never be the measure of our worth. And finally, let's talk about moral character. For the Stoics, success was about becoming the best version of oneself, about cultivating virtues like courage, justice, wisdom, and temperance. It was about living in accordance with nature, embracing hardship as an opportunity for growth, and always striving to do the right thing, no matter the cost. So, there you have it. Success to a Stoic is not about what you have, but who you are. Failure in our society is often seen as the ultimate defeat. And who can blame us? From an early age, we are conditioned to view failure as a negative, a blight on our records, a stain on our reputations. We're taught to associate it with shame and embarrassment, with disappointment and regret. From the moment we step foot into a classroom, we're introduced to the idea of failure. We're graded, ranked, and compared to our peers. We're told that if we don't make the grade, we'll be left behind. We're taught to fear failure, to dread it, to avoid it at all costs. And as we grow older, this fear takes root. It grows with us, influencing our choices and shaping our lives. It whispers in our ears, telling us not to take risks, not to venture out of our comfort zones, not to dare to dream too big. It tells us that if we fail, we'll be judged, ridiculed, rejected. In our society, we equate success with happiness and failure with unhappiness. We believe that to fail is to be unsuccessful and therefore unhappy. We see those who have failed as less than, as not good enough, as lacking in some way. But let's pause for a moment and consider this. What if we've got it all wrong? What if our understanding of failure is flawed? What if failure isn't the monstrous entity we've made it out to be, but rather a stepping stone on the road to success? What if we started to view failure not as a setback, but as an opportunity? An opportunity to learn, to grow, to evolve. What if we saw it as a necessary part of the journey, a part of the process of becoming who we are meant to be? And what if we realized that failure isn't something to be feared, but something to be embraced? What if we understood that it's through our failures that we truly learn about ourselves, about our strengths and our weaknesses, about our potential and our limits? But is failure really the end, or could it be a new beginning? To the Stoics, failure was just another teacher. This line might seem counterintuitive, but within the realm of Stoicism, it's a fundamental truth. Stoics view failure not as a dead end or a reflection of personal inadequacy, but rather as a stepping stone towards growth and self-improvement. Imagine a child learning to walk. Each stumble, each fall is not a defeat, but a lesson. Similarly, the Stoic approach treats every failure as an opportunity to learn, to adapt, and to strengthen one's resolve. It's a process of trial and error, where errors are not to be feared or avoided, but welcomed as part of the journey. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." This encapsulates the Stoic attitude towards failure. It's the friction, the trials, the failures that refine us, that polish us into the best versions of ourselves. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, who made over 1,000 unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb. When asked about it, Edison remarked, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." This is the Stoic perspective in action. It's an understanding that every failure brings us one step closer to success. This approach to failure, as you might imagine, can be incredibly liberating. It detaches one's sense of self-worth from the outcome and places it instead on the effort, the process. It allows us to face challenges head-on, without the paralyzing fear of failure. It reminds us that it's okay to fall, as long as we get back up and keep moving forward. In the grand scheme of things, failure is temporary, transitory. It's a fleeting moment in time, a brief stop on the journey towards our goals. It's not something to be ashamed of, but something to be embraced, to be learned from. So let's reframe our perspective on failure. Let's see it not as a setback, but as an opportunity. Let's welcome it, learn from it, grow from it. Because in the eyes of a Stoic, there is no failure, only feedback. Society often ties happiness to external conditions. And by external conditions, we mean the tangible, the visible, the material. The swanky cars, the lavish homes, the designer outfits, the symbols of wealth and success that we've been conditioned to associate with joy and contentment. We've been led to believe that happiness is a state to be achieved, a destination at the end of a long, winding road of hard work, sacrifice, and dogged determination. We're told to chase after pleasure, to run from discomfort, to accumulate wealth and possessions as if they're the keys to a mythical lock, guarding the gate to happiness land. Indeed, we live in a world where happiness is often measured in terms of physical and material pleasure. The more we have, the happier we are supposed to be. The more we indulge in our desires, the more satisfied we are assumed to feel. But this narrative, this societal view of happiness, is deeply flawed. It's like a game of fetch, where the stick is perpetually out of reach, no matter how hard you sprint or how high you leap. After all, how can we ever find true happiness if it's always just beyond the next paycheck, the next promotion, the next purchase? And then there's the idea of avoiding pain at all costs. We're told that happiness means living a life devoid of discomfort, hardship, or suffering. But isn't it through these very trials and tribulations that we grow, evolve, and become more resilient? Isn't it through overcoming adversity that we find a deeper, more meaningful sense of fulfillment? So, we're left with a paradox, aren't we? On the one hand, society tells us to pursue pleasure and avoid pain. On the other hand, these very pursuits often lead us away from true happiness, from a contented life marked not by what we have, but by who we are and how we navigate the world. But does happiness truly depend on what happens to us? Or could it be perhaps that the key to genuine happiness lies within us, waiting to be discovered, nurtured, and cherished? Let's delve deeper into this in our next scene. Stoics believe that happiness comes from within. Now, that might sound like a cliché, but let's delve into what it truly means in the context of Stoicism. Stoics propose a radical shift in our understanding of happiness. They argue that happiness is not about amassing wealth, gaining fame, or achieving societal success. Rather, it's about cultivating internal virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues, according to Stoics, form the cornerstone of a well-lived life. But what does it mean to cultivate these virtues? It's about making conscious choices that align with these values, irrespective of external circumstances. It's about choosing honesty over deceit, bravery over cowardice, fairness over injustice, and moderation over excess. This doesn't mean Stoics are immune to the allure of wealth or the charm of success. It simply means they don't let these external factors dictate their happiness. Another crucial aspect of the Stoic perspective on happiness is the acceptance of what we cannot control. Stoics understand that life is unpredictable and full of uncertainties. They recognize that much of what happens in our lives is beyond our control. So, rather than fretting about what could go wrong, they focus on what is within their power, their actions, their responses, and their attitudes. This acceptance liberates them from the shackles of worry, anxiety, and regret. It allows them to find peace amidst chaos and joy amidst adversity. It empowers them to live fully in the present moment without being weighed down by the past or anxious about the future. In essence, Stoicism offers a blueprint for durable happiness, one that is not contingent on external circumstances but rooted in our internal character and choices. It encourages us to find fulfillment in virtue, to embrace the unpredictability of life, and to seek happiness within ourselves. For a Stoic, happiness is a state of mind, not a set of circumstances. It's a way of life that turns traditional notions of happiness on their head, challenging us to look inward for the joy and contentment we often seek outward. The Stoics offer a path to fulfillment that is radically different from societal norms. In the pursuit of fulfillment, we often find ourselves entangled in a web of societal expectations, chasing external rewards and fleeting pleasures. We tend to equate fulfillment with success, wealth, and happiness, yet this is far from the Stoic understanding of the term. Stoicism, a philosophy born in the bustling markets and grand halls of ancient Greece and Rome, offers a different perspective. It suggests that fulfillment isn't found in the external, but rather within us. It isn't about accumulating wealth, achieving success, or even pursuing happiness. Instead, it's about cultivating a virtuous life, aligning our actions with our highest values, and finding peace within ourselves, regardless of external circumstances. Imagine a life where fulfillment isn't tied to the whims of fate or the fickleness of fortune. A life where your sense of worth isn't dictated by your bank account, your job title, or the number of likes on your social media post. That's the life Stoicism invites us to lead. It's a life of self-composure, resilience, and inner peace, where fulfillment is a byproduct of virtue and wisdom. Stoicism teaches us that we can find fulfillment in any situation, even in the midst of adversity. It encourages us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, our responses, and let go of what we can't. In doing so, we free ourselves from the shackles of external validation and find fulfillment in our own actions and attitudes. Furthermore, Stoicism reminds us that life is transient. Everything we hold dear, wealth, success, even life itself, is temporary and can be taken away in an instant. As such, it advises us to detach ourselves from these fleeting externals and instead invest in the enduring virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. In the Stoic view, fulfillment is about leading a virtuous life, not accumulating external rewards. With this perspective, we can navigate the turbulent seas of life with equanimity, find meaning in every moment, and ultimately live a life of true fulfillment. So how can we apply these ancient Stoic principles in our modern lives? Well, the beauty of Stoicism lies in its practicality. It's not just a high-flying philosophy to be mused over in ivory towers. Instead, it's a guidebook for life, applicable to anyone, anywhere, and at any time. One of the simplest and most effective ways to integrate Stoicism into our lives is by practicing mindfulness. Now, mindfulness is quite the buzzword these days, isn't it? But for Stoics, mindfulness isn't about sitting cross-legged and chanting. It's about being present and aware, consciously observing our thoughts, emotions, and reactions. It's about catching ourselves when we start to fret about the past or worry about the future and gently bringing our attention back to what's happening right now. Stoicism also teaches us to focus on what we can control. In a world where uncertainty is the only certainty, this principle is a beacon of sanity. We can't control the weather, the traffic, or the opinions of others, but we can control our reactions to these external events. We can choose to remain calm in the face of adversity, to be patient when things don't go our way, and to persist when challenges arise. And then there's the Stoic emphasis on character over material success. We live in a society that worships wealth, status, and power, but Stoics remind us that these are fleeting and fickle. What really matters, what truly defines us, is our character. It's the kindness we show to others, the integrity we uphold, the courage we display in the face of adversity. These are the true measures of success. So let's start practicing mindfulness, focusing on what we can control, and valuing character over material possessions. Let's challenge societal norms and redefine what it means to be successful. By applying Stoic principles, we can redefine success, embrace failure, and find true happiness. So, there you have it, 10 Stoic perspectives on success, failure, and happiness. In a world that often measures worth in material gain and societal praise, Stoicism offers a refreshing, grounded approach. Success is not about external accolades, but personal virtue and integrity. Failure, rather than a setback, is a learning opportunity, a stepping stone on the path to progress. Happiness is not reliant on external conditions, but on our internal state of mind, our ability to find contentment in the present moment. Stoicism challenges us to redefine our perceptions and attitudes towards success, failure, and happiness. It's a philosophy that reminds us of the power of perspective, the importance of resilience, and the potential for personal growth in every circumstance. The Stoic path to fulfillment is not about achieving an ideal state, but about cultivating an inner resilience that allows us to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and equanimity. Remember, it's not the events that happen to us that define us, but how we respond to them. That's the Stoic way. As we wrap up our discussion on Stoic perspectives, I encourage you to dive deeper into these timeless principles with the recommended guide ebook, The Stoics Code. Find the link in the description below. If you missed our insights on handling difficult emotions, you can catch it right here. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell to stay updated. Thank you for joining us on this Stoic journey. Until next time, live purposefully and stay Stoic.